What's up, taters? This is Tree from treeoflogic.com. Welcome to my channel, the Treehouse News, and I got another video. Okay, this is pretty good. Okay, those of you who live in blue cities, especially if you're living in New York or in California or the state of Washington or Oregon, you are having problems with homeless as well as a drug epidemic, and it's just a big old mess because they're incentivizing people to be homeless in those areas. And not only that though, but I find it strange that we have a homeless epidemic, but we are allowing a lot of illegal aliens into this country. Make that make sense? Anyway, I'm going to read, like I did the last time, I'm going to read an article here, and then we're going to look at this new, I haven't actually, believe it or not, I haven't watched this video, so we'll be watching it together for the first time, where it's going to go into more of a detail. Before I even talk about this and I read this article, I need to share something with you where I notice how the blue cities are incentivizing homelessness. And it all started from the George Floyd riots that happened in 2020. And a lot of those places, especially in historical Black areas in Atlanta, where they were destroyed during the George Floyd riots, they have not fixed those areas up. And this like 4 years later. So here it is. We have beautiful parks. Because when was I in Atlanta? I was in Atlanta. I was up there last summer, I do believe. Okay, I was in last summer, and as I was driving down Peachtree Street, there is a park that's right by Georgia State University. Those of you who are familiar with Atlanta, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's about 2 to 3 blocks away from the underground. And in that park, just a beautiful park that normally you would go there and feed the pigeons or just sit there and just read a book. It was very clean. It was very quiet. Across the street, like right adjacent to the Georgia State University building, was an open grass, very green, plush, lush grass where students will go out there and read. When I passed by, it was pretty shocking to see tents in that park and a sea of homeless people. And it was so shocking. I was like, I almost got in an accident because I was like, it was something that I've never seen before, ever. I never thought that downtown Atlanta, especially that section, would look so trashy. And all those buildings that were destroyed during George Floyd riot still had those the wooden boards, okay, covering the doors, covering the windows. And it was just shocking how it made me think, like, how those places are still looking like trash. It still looks bad. It makes me think, this could have been planned. This could have been all a plan. But anyway, I never seen homeless like that, because when Atlanta was thriving, when it was just a great city, the police would make sure that the homeless were kept in check, that they did not bother people in these parks, and it was okay to have them occasionally sprinkled without the city, with their cups on the corner begging. But for them to be living out in those parks was just something I would never thought I would see. So I'm very interested in this because I would love to see Atlanta. I don't live up there. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm reminiscing on how Atlanta used to be such a great place, a great city. Okay. Downtown Atlanta. All right. I wouldn't recommend that for tourists. So this is a win. And for anybody who's like, well, what about the homeless? Let me tell you something. The homeless always find a place to stay when it's cold. I find that they're not camping out there when it's cold. So if they can find a place to stay when it's cold, then I don't know about all this place where it's nice and warm outside. Give me a break. Anyway, let me read this article and then we'll look at the video clip. Supreme Court, it's not cruel and unusual punishment to clear homeless encampment. All right, let me darken this up here. Okay, the Supreme Court ruled a 6-3. Here we go with the 6-3 again. I wonder was it those three ladies again. Okay, Amy, or Kagan and of course Sotomayor. That's Sotomayor, man. She's a piece of work. Anyway, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 on Friday that it is not cruel and unusual punishment under the 8th Amendment to remove homeless people from encampments and to imprison them for repeatedly violating anti-camping laws. The case, City of Grants Pass versus Johnson, was watched closely by civic leaders nationwide who are struggling to deal with homelessness, especially in Los Angeles, California, where the homeless population has continued to grow because they're incentivizing them. Like they give them checks, they give them drug paraphernalia, they give them tents, they give them food, they give them this little bus come over there where they can basically shower, shave, and take a dump. I mean, it's like cozy for them now. Are you serious? Justice Neil Gorsuch, writing for the majority, expressed sympathy for the homeless and acknowledged that the issue is complex and difficult to resolve. But he noted that laws against encampment were commonplace and said that the 8th Amendment was a poor foundation on which to mount a challenge against them. The right forum in which to debate responses to homelessness was in democratically elected governments, not in the federal courts. Facts. Okay. Look at Los Angeles. Look at Seattle, Washington. Look at Washington, D.C. Look at New York City. You know, look at all those places. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass called the court's decision disappointing, although her own city is struggling and surviving to deal with homeless encampment. Okay. Bass strategy is to move homeless people into motels and hotels and bill the taxpayers. I wish they would. I'm glad I got my governor. My governor would never let this happen to us. But then again, he is a Republican. He's not a demon rat, so I don't have to worry about this. And anyway, has met with only limited success, with some people benefiting, but the homeless population is growing. Stop incentivizing them. Stop making it comfortable for them to live as homeless people in these cities. In April, Bass employed wealthy residents of the city to donate money for property to be devoted to the homeless. Los Angeles County is trying to replace a 1/4-cent sales tax for homeless services to a 1/2 cent in a ballot initiative. Justice Sonia Sotomayor said in her dissent, "Sleep is a biological necessity, not a crime." Hey, if that's the case, Sonia, how about we let the homeless sleep on your daggone porch? How about in your backyard? The audacity. These people are something else. For some people, sleeping outside is their only option. The city of Grants Pass jails and fines those people for sleeping anywhere in public at any time, including in their cars. If they use as little as a blanket to keep warm, or a rolled up shirt as a pillow. For people with no access to shelter, that punish them from being homeless. That is unconscionable and unconstitutional. There are plenty of places for them to sleep. They don't have to be an eyesore, okay, in the city. And also, a lot of problems come with these people. Crime, drug use, okay? This place, I mean, we have seen some areas in Los Angeles look like a zombie. Or was it San Francisco? I can't remember, but let's not forget they defecating on the daggone sidewalk. They're walking around like meth head zombies. All right. It's amazing. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at this. Let's go ahead and look at this video that talks more about it in detail.
All right, happening now. We're going back to the Supreme Court where the latest round of opinions are in this morning. It was the case involving homelessness and loitering laws. The Supreme Court is permitting cities to enforce bans on homeless people sleeping outside.
Yay! Law and order. Law and order. Law and order. Stop incentivizing them.
Even if shelter space is lacking. And this ruling comes as a rising number of people in the United States are without a permanent place to live.
I don't understand how this is a problem when we can find places to live for all these illegal immigrants. You can find places to live for millions, by the way, millions of illegal immigrants, but you can't find a place to stay for our own homeless people, American citizens that are homeless. Now, don't get me wrong. I have seen some interviews where there's a lot of these homeless people who are like, I don't want to work. I want to be homeless. I like getting high. I like not having no bills and no responsibility. Okay, these people have to be, put in somewhere where they can survive on their own. If they want to be homeless, don't incentivize them, okay? Let them start surviving somewhere else. But the thing about it is, for those who want help, give them the same type of help you're giving to the illegal immigrants.
Are 4 cases left, folks, including presidential immunity and a January 6th case. But let's dig into this ruling with defense attorney and former federal prosecutor Scott Frederickson, who joins me now. Scott, so this was an interesting case. This had to do with the city of Grants Pass, Oregon, and what they were saying, and what they were saying to the Supreme Court, is that they wanted to enforce what they call an anti-camping law or statute that allows police and other local officials to remove homeless people from certain areas of a city. But there were others who said that this was cruel and unusual punishment as defined by the 8th Amendment of the Constitution. So what did the court say?
Here's the thing. When did we think it was okay to have tents in the middle of business areas, just in there in the public, where panhandlers and these homeless people can harass you, beg you? You see these unsightly views. Like, this is just, I'm sorry, it's an eyesore. I don't want these people in these cities. You know what I'm saying? My thing is that we could help them, the ones that want that help. I don't want to see tents all put up. It looks disgusting, and I don't want the problem that comes with it. And yes, I don't live in this area. I live in the suburbs, okay? I'm so happy I do. But the thing about it is that one day when I drive up there, it's like Atlanta's like an hour and a half. The rare times I do go up there, I would like to just tour the city and reminisce like the old days. But I can't do that when it just looks like a dump. It looks like a third world country. I'm like, ew.
Well, the court in a 6-3 decision said that the city of Grants Pass can enforce their ordinance prohibiting and punishing homeless people for sleeping and camping out in public spaces. This was an important decision, not just for the city of Grants Pass, but for all over the country, for all the cities and communities dealing with the homeless population. The lower court has said that, look, you can't go in and punish a homeless person when they have no place to go. And that violates the 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual.
They have places to go. If you have places for these illegal immigrants who are not citizens, they're not U.S. citizens, you have a place to house the homeless that are United States citizens.
Treatment provision. The Ninth Circuit agreed, said, nope. You can't punish homeless. You can't arrest them, detain them, fine them, criminalize this. The Supreme Court overturned that, said, Good. Well, yes, you can do that. The 8th Amendment does not control our homeless policy. And in this 6-3 decision made very clear that communities now, such as Grants Pass or San Francisco or New York, Alabama or Texas, can address homeless the problem by removing the people from public spaces.
Here's the thing. I don't think Los Angeles is going to enforce this. I don't think a lot of these in New York, I don't think they're going to enforce it. I think red states that like Alabama, Georgia, I think Florida have already been doing this, okay, thanks to DeSantis. You know what I'm saying? They already been on this before the ruling. So I think the areas where they are red, where they care about the blue cities and they can enforce that, they will enforce it. But I think like the Democrat or the Demon Rat cities, like New York City, like Seattle, Washington, like Los Angeles, like San Francisco, they're not going to enforce this. Watch, they're just going to continue to let their city look like trash or a third world country, as I said earlier.
Interesting thing about this is this ruling was challenged below by both liberals and conservatives, by the governor of California and by the states of Montana and Alabama. They all attempted to overturn this with the idea of retaining control to address homelessness in their communities. The Supreme Court agreed.
Yeah, so this is interesting, Scott, because, and I know that the court doesn't deal with what would become now a city or a local problem, right? So the city does have the ability to enforce this anti-camping rule. They can remove homeless people. The Supreme Court says you are not punishing them for the simple act of being homeless, being without a place to stay, without a shelter. But now, of course, what do you do with people that you're removing from?
They're not going to do anything. Watch my word. Mark my word. Los Angeles is not going to do nothing. They're not going to enforce anything. You know what I'm saying? They're not. I don't even have to listen to his answer. As a matter of fact, I can just stop playing the video. Thing about it is that if we have luxury apartments, luxury hotels for illegals that are in our country, okay? People who were not born here, people who did not give into or pay into the tax bracket, all right, income tax or any of those, they basically have not stayed here long enough to financially benefit from our hard-earned tax dollars. And if we are doing more for people who are not Americans, then I'm sorry, we can just get rid of them, deport them, send them back wherever they came from, or have them stay in Mexico and then exchange it. Like, okay, instead of having these illegal immigrants who are not supposed to be here, all right, they're in here illegally, then we can change them out and put homeless people in here. We can solve the homeless problem. Let's not forget what happened in California with Gavin Newsom, all right, when ching, ching, ting, ting, ping, all right, from China. I don't know. I know that's how you pronounce his name, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it today. Remember, he came from China, came from California. They miraculously got rid of all of the homeless during that time. Remember that? Remember? You couldn't find a homeless person anywhere within miles. They got rid of all the tents, all the encampments. They got rid of all the homeless people, all the eyesores. And I'm like, wait a minute. You can do that for the ruler of China coming to visit California? I forget I don't know if he was in San Francisco or he went to Los Angeles. I can't remember. I don't remember. But I do remember wherever he was, they were able to get rid of all of the homeless before he arrived. And then I think a couple of days after he left, then they allowed them to come back and, do what they do the best, okay? Just make it an unpleasant place. Crime went down during that time. Like, people were not disgusted. A lot of cars were not broken into. Like, it was just, they have the power to change this. They just don't want to for whatever reason. It is what it is. These are the demon rats. But, I'm going to stop playing the video because, like I said, I don't need to hear nothing else. I already know, what they can do. But I am happy for my state. I don't anticipate this to be effective in New York or any of the blue states or the demon rat states. I don't see this being implemented or enforced in those cities, in those states. But I do know for states like Tennessee, any of the states that are red, okay, but especially down here in the South, because a lot of homeless people come down here because the weather is better down here than it is up north. So they tend to come down north, down to the South. However, DeSantis put a stop to that long time ago. So he already made it illegal for them to encamp in public places. So he already was on this, beforehand. But, for cities that we have here in Georgia, it would be great for them to slowly, get things back to where they used to be. So tourists, if the tourists don't feel safe of going into these cities, then that's also going to affect the financial bottom line in the economy for that state. But anyway, Supreme Court is just handing out all kinds of W's. Okay. I'm thinking about doing a video in reference to the Bible. this is going to be some good news for you Christians. I do believe, I forgot what it was, but it's something about there was a decision in reference to Bible. Hold on, let me see if I can find out what that was. It was... Okay, I found it. So Oklahoma mandates Bible in public schools. W for the Christians over there in Oklahoma. So I might do a video on that either later today, if not tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, this is Tree from treeoflogic.com. Let me know what you think about this by leaving a comment below this video. If you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe and give me a like, please. May I have a like, dear sir, dear ma'am? And I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, taters.